That's where Hornets Walk. It's 20 minutes where we look at the very best and the very worst of Watford's social media following, of course, that defeat to Millwall. This one came in from Maestro, who said we passed the ball back if we had a penalty. Silly negative tactics, and that's where we're starting this week. We're talking in our first debate about the fans' anger at what many describe as complete capitulation in the second half against Millwall. Many are saying never play Bayo again. Is that too harsh? We'll get Aaron and Rio's view on that in a second. We're looking at wages across the Championship. Where do Watford sit? And some surprising, when we look at the wages at Watford, who the top earners are. More on that in 5 minutes. And who do we want to see come up from League One? Right. Simple questions to start off with to both of you. Is the season now over? Aaron?
I'd say, bearing any sort of capitulation from the other teams in front of us, I think it is. I can't see us accumulating enough points and going on a run whilst having other teams slip up. It just won't happen. We just can't seem to get a consistent enough run of performances. It's fine playing well for 3 games, but to get in them playoff places, you have to play well for 5, 6, 7. It's not happening. So I would say it's pretty much done.
Right. We're recording this before the Swansea game. Sorry, so if you're looking for comments on that, then that'll be next week. Rio, for you, are you done and dusted and settling for 11th?
Call me delusional. I don't think the season is done. If we do beat Swansea, which our record against them isn't very good, then I think we'll only be 3 points behind West Bromers. They've got Burnley away, and that's not an easy task, as our rivals found out on the weekend. But yeah, we just can't seem to get any consistency together. And we do have a decent run of fixtures. We've got Oxford away next, who are winless of 6 or 7, and then you got Plymouth, who can't find a win for the life of them. But after that, it gets a bit more challenging, and we play the teams in and around us. So if you are going to pick up points, there has to be now, and we're not really doing so at the moment.
Let's have a look at some social media ticks from that Millwall game. They're not pleasant reading, as you'd imagine. Neil says, we only played the first half, slow and lethargic, 4 attempts, 1 on target second half. Defending, do we ever work on it? Never we never a playoff team, and this proves it, and we've had no decent striker all season. 3 exclamation marks on that one. Tim says, defeat, capitulation would be a better word. What happened at half time, Aaron? I was watching bits of your game in the Coventry Stoke game. I had it on 2 different screens, and I thought you were going to coast to victory given the way you played the 45 minutes.
Yeah, I think people were saying at half time that half was one of, if not our best all season. Bar the penalty that they probably should have had. They did nothing, Millwall. We controlled the game. We were really comfortable. All we had to do was come out and give 75% of the performance we gave in the first half, and we'd have won that football match. But obviously, what ensued was the polar opposite. If there was ever a game where you could use the cliche Jekyll and Hyde performance, that was it right there, because it was literally like a different side had come out of that tunnel. And I want to say, one of the things that it obviously is not the reason we lost, but one of the things that I definitely think threw them off was Alex Neil deciding to switch ends in the first half, because we play so much better attacking the rookery. And another manager that used to do it as well was when we were in the Premier League, Sean Dyche at Burnley would always make us switch ends, and I don't think we ever beat a Sean Dyche Burnley at home. So I think, honestly, for other teams when Bridge Road, wouldn't that tosser make us switch ends, because it throws us off entirely?
That is madness. A suggestion, Rio, that you're playing too much fancy, or trying to play too much fancy football in the second half. Yeah. James says it was the worst half all season for all of us. We had a particularly good first half. Got too complacent and tried fancy football too much. Thoughts on that?
Yeah, I agree. It worked for us completely in the first half, playing out from the back, but although Tom Daly did get caught a bit in the first half in the banquet, could have conceded a penalty if I think that's the penalty shot Aaron's talking about. But in the second half, even Selvik and the banquet, who look like they have great distribution at their time at Watford, they were giving the ball away. And Tom Daly got caught on the half term, and Aaron Connolly probably should have given Millwall a third goal near the end. It wasn't working for us, and we didn't switch up at all, which it does show that cleverly trying to keep to one style of football, but we did nothing second half. I don't think we had a header from a corner near the end, but apart from that, I don't think we even threatened them. They nullified Loser and Chapadazzi, which completely stopped us from doing anything.
Which just shows a sign of good managers, doesn't it? Nullifying them too. What about Bayo, Aaron? Our second topic is about him, and then I'm struggling here because we've talked about him more than any other player on here before. But there was this tweet and lots of support from it as well. Never playing Bayo again, please. It's like playing with 10 men. Pathetic. Don't want to jump on players, but seems like the Watford fan base is at a critical point with Bayo now, and it seems like for those that haven't turned, they easily could. Where are you at with him?
Yeah, I just think it's the same issue we had with Rivich last season. He may have 10 goals, but there is too many limitations in his game that although he may score a goal, he will likely hinder us in trying to get to the goal. It is one of those. It's a catch-22 when he might get a chance in the box and put it away, but the problem is it just hinders everything we're trying to do when we're going forward. And I remember there was this whole argument of is Rivich or Bayo better? Neither are any good, and it just this topic of who are we going to get up front in the summer window is probably what we're going to be talking about to the end of the season now, because like me and Luke discussed last week, it's so important that they get it right, because Bayo is going back to Udinese. Sorry, why did I say Juventus? He's going to Udinese now. Yeah. So definitely not going to Juventus. Yeah, but no, he'll be going back there. I can't see them bringing him back on loan again. I also hope not. I think it's time, clean slate. We have got to get 2 strikers minimum in, and they have got to do their due diligence in finding some good ones this time.
You know what, Aaron? He had 3 weeks off due to that red card silly challenge against Norwich. You'd think he'd be a bit fresh after not playing for a few weeks. He looks so unfit. Dimvia running his socks off, pressing and winning the ball back. Bayo just looks so lethargic, and I think when Dimvia came off of that hamstring injury, which apparently is out till next month, I think, if we did have any momentum and we're going to find a winner or an equaliser, just all went, nothing could stick to Bayo at all.
Yeah, it could be a massive chance now for the kid in the under-18s. I can't remember his name. That's it, Okerson. Our under-18s are flying at the moment. They're in the FA Youth Cup. Is it semi-finals now?
Semi-final, City.
And the guy up front for them scored quite a few goals in this cup run. So look, we've got no one behind Bayo now. I think it's time that you get him on the bench and get him some experience.
Okay. Rio, if you're loaned from a company to another company, you've only got 8 weeks left at that company, does your work rate go down knowing that you're heading back to somewhere else? Is it sort of psychologically, do you think that
I think
it can be an issue?
Once maybe it looks very unlikely that we're not getting playoffs. You could see that at the end of last season, players who we knew were going to be off, Dennis from his loan, 1 or 2 other players who were on loan, Jamal Lewis not cutting it. They weren't in the squad for the remaining game or 2 of the season, and we started playing academy players instead, and you could tell that they were just looking to next season. I think Bayo hasn't even been at Udinese yet, because obviously they loaned him back to us when they signed him, so I don't think that should really be an excuse at all.
Okay. But look, a point against Swansea this week or a point against Oxford means 50 points, and you're safe. You're not going down. We look on the bright side. I
think that's a successful season, staying up.
But you all said you'd take 21st, I think, a couple of months ago. So you'd definitely take 50 points now, wouldn't you? All right, cheers for that chat. If you've just come across the channel, welcome. Do drop us a quick subscribe and a like. 20 minutes of Watford chat with these 2 plus other guests. And Luke, of course, who's at a charity game tonight. Every single Tuesday at 6 o'clock, reviewing all the games. This week, we're talking also about wages. Because there's been several graphics been produced of where each club is at in terms of how much they pay the players. I was surprised at this, given how much I listen to you guys each week go on about structures. Now, this is not confirmed. This is from Salary Sport, who do lots of investigation into what sports people earn. But yeah, there you are. You're more than mid-table, Aaron. Are you having that?
I don't think it's awful. I think if you think about some of the wages of the teams up there, like Norwich and Luton paying those players that much for where they are, then I think we're doing all right. I imagine those are highly spiked by the players we still have from our Premier League season. I imagine Sissoko coming back must be on a lot as well. So I do think that we're probably one of those teams where it's a bit top heavy on the wage bracket. I reckon like Backman, Kayembe and Sissoko are probably well at the top. Chak with his extension probably quite high up there. And then I think you probably look at some of our more important players now, like Bar. I reckon he's probably on peanuts compared to them. Yeah. So I think you might see a different amount of spending come the summer window when maybe some of those players move on and some different ones come in.
Yeah, so look at the top 10 earners at Watford. Again, this is not confirmed. This is obviously done again by a reputable sports organisation. But yes, Sissoko, 45,000 a week according to this report. Bonner, 45 again. You've got 5 players there earning over $1 million a year. Rio, is that surprising given the length of time you've been out of the Premier League?
Yeah, I remember. Aaron, when we got relegated, I think it was the COVID season, didn't Scott Duxbury say that each player was having 50% deducted off their wages? So
yeah, it was in all the contracts.
Yeah, players like Sissoko being on 45,000 is way more than I expect, if that is correct. And I think the problem is we are 11th or something for our wage spending, which that correlates with our position, so it's about right. But what we actually spend the most of our wages on is the below par players. Sissoko shouldn't be nowhere near the highest earner. You've got Tom Ince up there as well, who's still got like 2 years remaining on his contract, and he'll be 36 then. It's quite a lot of the experienced players, but the ones who should be the top earners should be the regular starters. Pollock, Barr, Chatvidazzi, Loser are crucial players, but instead it's squad players like Bonner, who hasn't seen any minutes for a few months.
Yeah, I mean, you'd imagine. Would Chatvidazzi get a new deal, and should he get one? And is it in the offing here?
He had one. A few months ago, they gave it.
Right, just to keep the vultures of the Premier League away, or even the ones that will be losing from this league as well. Because every time you play one of those bigger teams such as Leeds and Burnley, they always say, "Hey, that little guy is pretty good, isn't he?" They don't know his name. It's a good job he's got a name no one can remember.
Number 8 for Watford.
Yeah, number 8. Yeah, that's what they say. Yeah. Right. Cheers for that. Our final topic this week then is who we want to see coming up from League One. A couple of weeks ago, we relegated Luton and chose our playoff final. So now it's time to reflect on what away trips we'd love to be doing next season. Here's the 8 teams. Oh, no, that one. That's the one I want. Here's the 8 teams that, pressing all the wrong buttons tonight, that we think are coming up. Birmingham are pretty much there, aren't they? But Aaron, which 3? Any on here? First of all, any of you wouldn't want to see for any particular reason?
Reading and Huddersfield. Reading is probably one of the worst away days in the EFL, and Huddersfield is just so far away.
Yeah, I totally agree with Rio. Reading away is just a terrible away game. It's just stadium's dead, place is dead. Just not Reading.
Okay. Right. Okay, that leaves us with 6 left then. Aaron, who do you want coming up?
Again, with me, it's about how good an away day it is. Wycombe and Charlton for me. I've not done either, but I know people that have, and they said they're pretty good ones. Also, not too far to go. I'd appreciate that. So, yeah, Wycombe or Charlton for me.
Okay, Rio?
Yeah, Birmingham up as a given. I think Wrexham have closed the gap on Wycombe, if I'm not mistaken, but Wycombe is nice and local, I guess, even though you can't really get there by train, so we'd have to drive. Charlton, we haven't played them for a good 11 years. London away day. Some fans might get the boat to the game. It's a big away end and a big club who's spent way too long in League One. So Charlton, and I wouldn't mind Wrexham seeing what the club's all about, given it could be 3 promotions on the bounce for them.
Okay. I've never heard a more southern response to that question. Huddersfield's too far, and we want Wycombe and Charlton to come up. Come on.
Think of how northern this league is. In the Premier League, you've got about 8 clubs.
It's about time we had some come our way.
Come on, you must want Bolton back. You must want they're the belong. You must Stockport. That's a good story, isn't it?
I've done 4,000 miles already, Mark, and it's only March.
Right. Okay. Well, yeah, you will live in Watford. Right. Thank you very much for that. We'll, of course, catch you next week when, of course, reviewing how you've gone against Swansea and how you've gone on at your first trip to Oxford United in a long, long while as well. Are you both going to that one as a new away ground, I'm guessing?
Yeah, I will be. Sold out very quickly. You, Aaron?
I'm devastated to not be. I have a family commitment that day. And it was literally one of the few away games that I had circled. Like, I must do this one, and then this commitment's come up, and I unfortunately can't do it. But at least I'll be at Portsmouth, which is the other one I really wanted to do.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, and that's the Bayo Revenge Tour, isn't it? That one. Right. We will catch you then. Have a good week, everyone. See you in 7 days. Drop us a quick subscribe before you go.